Okay, now comes sort of the manual process of calculating costs for delivery. Basically, now that he's gathered all of this information, he needs to begin to estimate the time to build a new service compared to or subtracted from the estimated time to reuse an existing service. So that's the basis of this calculation. Okay? And that gives us, or gives the architect, a approximate net hours saved. Enterprise architects today, they have a lot of spreadsheet-driven models that may go and calculate this type of return on asset or return on investment calculation. But let's say, for instance, because the enterprise architect needs some help, what if we could automate this process and drive this net hours saved information directly from the metadata model? Okay, so basically, by interrogating this metadata model, we can begin to see the amount of assets, investments, and the associated savings. And then comes step number 5, the aha moment. The enterprise architect is now, because we've gone through this process, has now been able to use his asset portfolio, the meta information that's contained within that meta model, the information within that model, to begin to track savings of reuse, savings of development time and effort through dashboards. So, we can begin to take a look at real-time view at the true value of his SOA application. Okay? So going through this basic step, this major international insurance companies realized the following success. Okay? They were able to build reusable assets for SOA and realized that only about 20% additional investment as compared to 50% additional investment for building those non-SOA assets for their reuse. And the levels of reuse, because the applications, the artifacts were now being published in a repository in a proper way that had a much higher level of reuse, 25%, as compared to only 10% that they were able to track in traditional assets and applications. So basically, they drove significant future cost savings. Bottom line, this company saw about $17 million in U.S. in savings, about a 560% return on investment over the last 24 months by adopting this SOA reuse and asset management strategy. Okay? And here is just very simply a quick workflow from the perspective of all of the business stakeholders. I think the folks at the C-level who are setting the business drivers, we're very concerned about, obviously, the metrics and cost avoidance, but also within this workflow, the ability for a enterprise architect to allow for approval, promotion, and communication of the right assets within the repository, within the right management utility. And then working, obviously, very closely with developers and business analysts who need to go out and search and submit and consume these new assets. Okay. We saw basically Sensedia repository is this powerful, very flexible repository-based tool with an extremely flexible metadata model as well as workflow, and provides a comprehensive view of assets under management, ability to set things like key performance indicators, and really deliver real-time insight on asset classification and their associated savings. I went pretty quickly, kind of run through this. I wanted to get us back on time. To further discuss how we can help you with your organization, I invite you stop by and see me or see one of us from Sensedia at booth number 16. Talk a little bit more about how to raise the value of our SOA application and discuss our case study. So that's it.
Thank you, Brian.